So iframes are used to display a page within a page. The syntax for the iframe is given like this. So you have the opening tag, which is given this way, iframe, and you have the closing tag. We said the closing tag has a /, which is given here with the name of the tag. And then it has what an attribute we call source, that is SRC, and this gives the uniform resource locator or URL. So the URL is supposed to be the address of the website that you want to be placed within this frame. The other important attributes you need to declare for the iframe is the width and the height. So I click on the try it yourself so that you can see that. This page is the one that is having the document HTML iframes. And you can see here, I have an iframe that is called, that is supposed to load demo iframe.htm. So this website is from somewhere else. And when this page loads, also the iframe is going to be displayed. And you can see what is given here, that this page is displayed in an iframe. You can remove the border. So also within the style, you can declare that you don't want the border to appear. We have another example here, which in this case, we have a target. So we give the iframe a name, and when we click on a link like this link here, which is w3schools.com, then we are going to open it within this iframe. So let me try this, and you see, I have, currently you can see what is given on the iframe here, which is the text I have highlighted here, is that this page is displayed in an iframe. But still I have a paragraph, I have a link here within a paragraph, which is given here, that when I click on this, it is going to open on the target iframe here, which is given by this name, iframe_A. So that is the name of the iframe. So if I click on this link, which is given here, w3schools.com, and you're going to see, then I expect that within the iframe, and you can see the page has been loaded. Iframe example. So you have said the iframe is given by iframe tag name, and you can see it has opened the starting and the opening and the closing tag. So the source here, I'm going to give the source for the Kids Can Code. What I want to display in my iframe is the Kids Can Code website. So I'm going to have https then kcck.ilabafrica.ac.ke. So the width, probably I'm going to give this one as 500 and give a height of 300. So this is supposed to be ilabafrica. Yeah, that way. So if I refresh this, you can see now the website is being loaded here. So this is the website from the Kids Can Code. And now within my page, so this is the page that I have, and I have so many other things within the page. But within this page, I have also now placed another frame here. My iframe has a border, which is given here. I can decide to add a style here. And the style in this case is border, not the border width. So if I refresh this, you see now I'm going to be having my iframe, and it does not have a border that was appearing. So this is a website that is within another website, but this website does now not show. I already know that it's getting up to this particular place, but you can see this one does not have any other border that is given within it. HTML tables are used when you want to arrange your data into rows and columns. And this is how the tables looks like. So you have, this is an example of a table. You have a header that is giving the company name, and you can see here the details, then the contact, and you have the country that this particular country belongs. So the way to define a table, it has several tags. One, we have the table tag, which gives or defines the table. Then we have another tag called TR that defines the table row. We have another one which is called TH here, which defines the table header. So the table header works almost the same way with the other tag, which is called the TD, or the table data. The only difference with the TH for the table header and the TD is that the table header is centered by default and it is bold. So that's the way a table appears, and the structure or the syntax is given here. So you have the table opening tag and the closing tag for the table. Then you have every data is supposed now to be within the table row. The TR or the table row is the one that defines the row. And the TH or the TD defines the columns. If I click on the, try it yourself, you can see this example. So this is a table that has 3 rows, and you can see this one, this is the first row all the way to the end here. You also have the second row here, and you have the third one. And I can decide, the other thing to note is that this table also has 3 columns. The first column has the first name here. Then the second column has the 3, as the last name, and the third column has the age. I can decide to add another row here by using TR, so for the row, and I close that. Then I need to put 3 data items. The 3 data items is the first name, the second name, and the age. So the first table data there to add probably is Mike, and I close that. Then the second table data that is for the row is, so this is Mike Pence probably, and I close that one once again. Then the third one is the age for Mike. This could be something like 50, and I also close that. So if I click run here, you're going to realize that the details I have just added on the table, they have also been included here. So you can add a border to your table, because as you've seen, the table that is given here does not have a border. The previous table here, you can see this table does not have a border. So whichever way the data is appearing, you might not know whether exactly this is a table. And looking at the first table that we had here, that was given as an example here, you can see this is a table that has the different borders. And actually you can see even the different colors that are given for each one of the rows. So those are things that you can keep formatting within your table. So you can have the table border added this way through the style, and at the same time, you can also collapse the border. You can see this is a table, but this table now is having, we have the borders that have been added to it. So within the head tag, this is the style that is being used to add the style to the style of the border to the table. And now you see by default, this is the way the border is going to appear. But this one you can do away with it so that you don't have the two borders together. And this is the one we use through what we call collapsed borders. So you use this border collapse, this is the style you use, and then you collapse that. So if I go back to the code here, and I add that as another, so this is a border collapse, and then collapse there. Then I run this, then you're going to realize that it changes from the two borders that appeared to be there, and then now we have one particular border surrounding your table. So that's the way you create your table, and either put the borders, and you can change the different styles. As I mentioned previously, there are different things that you can keep changing within your table, and you can use that style tag to keep changing. You can add padding or margin. So padding gives some space between the cell content and its borders. If you look at the table as we have currently, like this name Jill is next to the border. So if I wanted to change that, I can decide that I want probably for the table data to have some space. And this is the one that is being given here, that for the table header and also the table data, we want a padding of something like 15 pixels. So that is some distance between the border of the table and where the cell content start to be. So I can come here within, once again, the style tag, and I have the table header, and I'm also table data. That's the style I want to define for them. And here, what I want to add is padding. So the padding, that space, and I give the value that I want. So something like 15 pixels. And if I refresh now this, you're going to realize that now these data values are no longer starting from the very margin or the border of the table, but they are starting some distance from the table, and you can keep changing as many styles as possible. To make a cell span, this means that one cell is going to have more than one column. So we use what we call the call span. An example is given here. So you have this table row that is supposed to be having 3 columns. So we have the first column, you have the second column. The reason as to why I know these are 3 columns is because I can see this data down here, that there are 3 of them. And I am given now on this table data here, the table head, that this is spanning 2 columns. So because it is spanning 2 columns, it means within this row, I'm not going to define 3 data elements or 3 cells, but I'm going to define 2 because one of them is spanning 2 of them. And I can show you an example here. So if you look at this, unlike the previous table where you'd have every cell data provided, for this one we have the telephone is spanning 2 columns here. So in the other row here, you have to give the 2 data here, but in the first one you're not providing that. And I can also add some another row here. So if I add another row here, you're going to realize I'm also supposed to define the 3 data elements. And I'm just going to copy this. I can maybe change the details a bit. And also the name here. If I run this, you can see once again it is added. It has added that one to the table, and it has the 2 data items. So now what I need to do is to span this particular data. So I need to span it in 2 columns so that it can fit. Now check something. If I first run this, so I have not put the 3rd data item. So if I run this, you're going to realize that my table is not complete. But now if I come back to this data item and I add an attribute of call span, and I span it now for 2. So I want to span this one within 2 datas like that. Then you're going to realize that my table becomes complete. A cell that goes for more than 1 row, we use the row span. If you look at the table we have here, the first one is defining 1 row and another one. So it is defining 2 columns. Then the second row is also defining 2 columns, the telephone and the telephone number in this case. But you realize that this row is also spanning 2 rows, and that's why we have the row span. So that means the third row which comes after this second row is only going to have 1 table data, because one of its data, which is the telephone here, is already defined in the previous row. So that way you can see in this particular row here, given by TR in this case, is having only 1 data item, unlike the others which are having 2 in this case. And this is because already that one is taken care of by the row span that we have at the top here. So that is one, the way of defining the row span and defining the column span for your table to span either rows or to span the columns. The other tag you can add within a table is the caption, and the caption is used mainly to give a kind of the title to your table. And it is given before you start to give the rows, and it is given using the caption tag. You can see it given here. So for the table that we already have here, I can add a caption here. In this case, so this is given by caption and the closing tag for caption. And so I can call this maybe addresses. And if I run this, you're going to realize that now this is provided here. The heading of the table is provided, which was not previously there. And this is given through the caption tag. HTML forms are used to collect user input. The form has different elements that comes with it. The structure of a form is given by the form element itself. So we have the opening tag for the form and the closing tag for the form. And the other element within a form is the input, and the input of different types. So you can see a listing of many of them. You have to decide which one is which. Do I need a button? Do I need a checkbox? Do I need the color? I can click on this example, which is given here, and you can see. So I have a form on this side. It has a label, which is giving the first name, and this is the one which is given on this side. You have another one, which now gives the input type for that. So the first name, you have the input type here, which is text, and this is where you type now the text that you want. And the other label is for the last name, which is given also here. And you have the other one, which is input type text, which is given here, and you can type your text there. And then you have the submit button. So the submit button is the one that is used to submit the information that is given here. You also have an action attribute. So this is an action attribute for the form. And this one is meant to take this information to the server. You also have another element, which is called select, which is given there, and it is given by the select element. You also have an option for this select element, and this is supposed to give you the different element that you can select. And this one gives you the different values that you can have for the select element. We have another element which is called text area, and you can see it given there, and it is given by the text area element, and you can see an example of the same. So an input of type text gives only one row where you can put your answer. but an input element, an element of text area, this one gives different rows and columns where you can type.